All right, so I'm here with James Van Elswyk, true legend in the media buying space. Awesome having you here. Well, actually, you have a pretty fascinating story from fat corporate guy
Yeah.
to affiliate newbie to um, lean and mean legend
Yeah.
in that space. So, can you share a little bit more about your story?
Yeah, sure. It's been about 3 years to get from, not knowing what a click was to spending 1 million a month on clicks. I went from more of the corporate world. I used to own call centers, and just realized like I needed 100 people to touch the money before I got to touch my money. And I saw with the affiliate marketing space that myself and a couple outsourced people, and I could make quite a bit of money pretty quick. And I saw a lot of opportunity as the internet grows. So I decided to kind of go in that path. I left the United States, I traveled, I did the laptop nomad thing, and it kind of gave me the freedom to progress until I decided to move to Tel Aviv, Israel.
Why Tel Aviv?
Yeah, so it's the epicenter really of media buying. I don't think people realize it, but I think it's the only place on earth you can go and tell someone you're a media buyer at a bar and they know what you are. So basically, the Facebook office, I can see it from my office. And I just kept going there every day, drinking my coffee in the morning, just hoping to make that connection. And eventually, I got a rep with them and Taboola and Outbrain and Google. And it's really just kind of blown up from there. Now we've got a team of media buyers that run a high level of traffic for lead gen and e-commerce. And then also we have our network, which is really blown out. A lot of like really good Facebook-friendly white hat offers. So it's been really kind of an explosion this last year.
That's fantastic. I mean, you're a person who really loves media buying, right? I mean, you're really like the person who checks stats every day, wakes up at night, and looks for hacks, or I think you call them tickles, right?
Yes.
So share a couple of those tickles.
Yeah, so basically the idea behind tickling is, when someone tickles you, you're defenseless. You just, somebody can take anything they want out of your hand. And I think about myself trying to tickle the ad server in an effort to give them a little of what they want so I can get what I want. And almost every ad server offers this. You just need to pay such close attention to the data that you notice little weird things that are happening. And if you can capitalize on them, then you try to repeat them and make your money off of them.
So with weird things, what do you mean? So let's say you run X number of ads and you just see like a higher CTR on one. That's like, it would be a super basic thing.
Let me see, like I'm running a bunch of ads and I notice that if I turn the campaigns on at 11:30 a.m., all of a sudden the CTR is much higher throughout the day. Then I'll say, this is interesting. Let me try to do this a couple of times, and it works, and I build on this.
Okay, so share a couple of those, a couple of examples for, let's say, Facebook and native. I think that's the biggest traffic sources you run on, right?
Absolutely. So on Facebook, what I like to do is I like to make an advertisement that is running, let's say, in the United States, and then I will take an engagement campaign or a likes campaign targeting another part of the world that has a high level of engagement. So let's say Malaysia, Philippines, India, they will click the like button and share anything. So by doing this, Facebook sees an advertisement that just has tons of engagement and likes and shares, so they give it like a very high value. Right. So when I advertise this in the United States, my costs are much cheaper.
You just start that campaign in different countries and then turn the ones off that you actually don't want?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. I call it Geo-Swapping. So I start out with a bunch of cheap countries and one expensive country, and then once I get it all juiced up and kind of falsely inflated, then I remove the non-converting but high engagement geos and just leave the one that I want, and it kind of drafts off that performance.
Does that also work when you work with broad audiences and pixel? Doesn't?
Okay, so the one thing is, you have to take into account that it will mess up the pixel when you want to do, lookalike audiences and engagements. So I usually just use it in the beginning, and then I wait till it's like fairly diluted, and then when I target, I just exclude those countries. So it's like they're not put in. You know what I mean? So they don't affect the audiences.
Okay, that's fantastic. Another one.
Okay, so on natives, what I like to do is I call it Revving the engine, where basically when you launch an image on an ad server, day one, nobody knows how good the CTR is. Nobody knows what the value is, ourselves or the ad server. So the ad server is going to mark it at the very beginning with some type of a score or what they assume the CTR is going to be, and that's going to float for a while. So what I do is I set the budget as low as possible, I jack the bid up as high as possible, and I just pound it with the most premium high bid traffic I can, so I get a very, very high mark.
Right.
And then I lower the bid down and turn it back on, and I've tricked the ad server into thinking it's probably better than it is. And then I float on those cheaper costs.
Okay, that's pretty smart too. All right, you got a third one?
Okay, so best impressions is the other one that I talked about, and I believe in this one. Normally what we do is we upload images just when one burns out.
Yeah.
So we run an image and then it burns out and then we upload a new one. But what I do is, in the same idea of how the ad server needs to mark the original image, in order to get a good marking, they give the very best impressions they have to offer. The high on the page, top of the fold impressions. So what I do is I keep uploading new content every day to trick them into always giving me their best impressions without me having to pay for it. So I'm getting the very premium inventory they have, but with the lowest cost.
That's amazing. Well, thank you very much for sharing that.
For
I
sure.
have another topic I would like to talk about.
Let's hit it.
And it's on teams and hiring. I mean, that's always a topic within the field industry, and obviously everybody who has built a bigger company needs people to do so. You've gone from nobody to a very healthy size of teams. What do you look at when you hire? Who do you hire? How do you hire? What's your process there?
Yeah, this is fairly simple here. I just want people that are hungry, that want to make money. If someone is not hungry, I don't want them to work for me. When we do things with media buying, we're handling a lot of money. A lot. People have budgets that have a lot of money attached to it. I don't want someone who's just clocking in and clocking out. Our campaigns run 24 hours a day, and obviously you can't expect your employees to work on the clock 24 hours a day, but they need to feel a sense of responsibility to that money. So I look for people that are going to be usually in some type of a bad situation, or really like money, or are really greedy, and those are the people that I go for, because they're the ones that are going to really put in the effort. And then I make sure to have a bonus program or incentives so that the better they do, the more they make. I want them to depend on their performance to get their paycheck, and not just showing up and punching the clock.
Right. So for a media buyer, that would usually be like a base salary plus a percentage of profit.
Yeah, I want us to have them get a decent base. I want people to live, I want them to be happy, especially in the beginning before they find a winner. But I want it to be that they make a very, very nice payout when they make me money. So our goals are aligned.
Right.
When I make money, they make money, and vice versa. Because this way they're really motivated to pump it up, and you want media buyers to be happy and great where they are, because there's always the fear of them wanting to do it themselves.
Right.
So you always want to put them in a situation where you're paying them well enough that they don't want to go anywhere else. They want to stay with you because they love the job and they're making a bunch of money.
Right. What do you feel is your biggest career accomplishment so far?
This is a tough one. I would say, like, on a recent level, it's been actually at this conference and in Berlin at the other conference. I went away and the campaigns were good, right? Like, I left and things were good. We were making money. But when I was at the conference, I'm so sucked into everything that's going on here. I can't look at the campaigns.
Yeah.
And both times, the last time and this time, my team has scaled on their own and really increased the money that we've been making. Last time when I was in Berlin, they went from, when I left, 30, 35K in revenue a day. And by the second day in Berlin, they'd scaled to over 60.
Maybe you should go to more conferences.
Yeah, I know. This made me proud, though, because the people I hired, they'd never done media buying before.
Right,
so I taught them and I oversee them, but when I wasn't there, they had internalized it and were able to do it themselves, and this made me really proud, because that's when you have a business, when you can be away and keep making money.
Exactly.
This is really an achievement for a business owner.
That's fantastic. It also fits very well with you setting up your own courses now with the iStack family, the guys from STM, right?
Exactly.
It's going to launch in January?
Yes, January 15th.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Definitely got to watch this one. All right. What do you believe is the biggest failure you had?
But the call center business that I had, I just crashed on the last one. Straight up failure. It was a very difficult business model, totally different than affiliate marketing. You didn't even break even for 14 months.
14.
14 months.
Shoot.
So you just bled money so that by the time you got to 14 months, you broke even, and 18 months you started to make money. And I miscalculated my cash flow. I was self-funded, and it really crashed. I had a huge staff. My payroll was, $150K a month.
That hurts.
and like it was really a failure because I had employees that had been with me for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Some of them had even brought on like their sons or daughters to work for me as well. And when this business went out, I had to lay people off that had been great to me, and this was really a big fail. But I don't think anything's like an ending failure. I have an expression that I use all the time, and I think that's kind of what I still look at, and it's I like martial arts quite a bit, jiu-jitsu and things like this. And there's a saying that a black belt is just a white belt that never quit.
Right.
Okay, so it's like even though that business went out, for me as a business person, as long as I don't quit and I don't put like a short time frame on things, it wasn't really a failure because I learned a shit ton. It's just something that's going to help me get to where we are now. So I don't make those same mistakes now.
Right. That's the important thing. So speaking about learning, I mean, that's obviously the most important thing that you can do.
Yes.
If you do it right. How do you go about learning? How do you do it?
Yeah, I'm ultimately consumptive. I try to every day read something, watch something, and listening to something.
Every day. You do
Every
that
day,
every
every
morning?
day.
You have like a
Every
routine?
day. The reading stuff is usually at the end of the night.
Okay.
That's just when I like to read because it brings my brain down. But as far as the
Can you actually sleep after that? If I do that, I'm just like lying in bed and like brainstorming.
The reading helps me. Well, and I get up so early that I'm always going to fall
okay.
asleep. I'm up every morning at like 4:30 or 5.
Okay.
So I'm tired by the end of the day. But I think that, Warren Buffett, for example, he doesn't schedule meetings. He just reads and studies all day. So the last year and a half, no one has my phone number except my wife and Facebook. I have no alerts on my phone. I don't open Skype. I don't open Gmail so that my experience isn't interrupted. And in my office in Tel Aviv, there's no desk. There's just a couch.
Interesting. Okay.
So I can just lay back and read and watch podcasts or listen to podcasts and watch videos, and I try this to be like the core part of my day, and then everything else around it is kind of the little part, where usually all the other BS that we go through every day is the main part and the learning is a little bit. I just try to switch the percentage.
Fantastic. But that also means that you have a very strong team who is doing the actual work.
Yes, but I'll say this as well. I'm encouraging them to follow the same thing. So I have a requirement that when they come back from lunch every day, they need to watch a learning video or a tutorial or a class for 1 hour after lunch. So every day they're forced to do 1 hour of studying just like I do.
Right. That's pretty amazing, yeah. I'm trying to implement something like this in my company as well, but I'm much more of a morning learning person. Maybe I should study that approach, like after lunch. Might work better for them.
I asked them to pick. I said, like, what time, when is your brain open to it? Because, like, in the morning, they're distracted by turning things off, turning things up, scaling.
Right.
And, like, after lunch, their brain is a little more quiet.
Yeah.
And they said that's when they wanted to do it. So, yeah, every day, 1 hour after lunch, they go in and they try to learn something. And then once a week, we talk about what they're learning.
That's pretty amazing. Okay. Who's the smartest person you know?
Who is the smartest person that I know? Man, this is so hard. I'm going to say my wife, because I can't lose on this one. And she's super smart. I mean, look, I'm fortunate. I got a lot of smart people in my life.
Yeah.
My partner Daniel is super quick.
Yeah.
His brain is so fast on a math level and an idea level. He's just super quick. Also, and oddly enough, I gotta say it's strange, but Rashawn, I don't know if you know Rashawn, one of the speakers here.
Yeah.
This guy's smart and
He
quick.
is, yeah.
He really just, you talk to him and he understands something in like just a couple of seconds. You know what? Here's one of my smartest guys. My attorney in the U.S., Rob Cohn, I can explain to him affiliate marketing and the weird little things that we do, like in a super strange business model, and he understands
He just
it
gets
in
it.
one
Right.
go round.
Nice.
Even if it's weird, his brain is just able to take in the concept and eat it in. So that's 4 people, but
Fantastic.
there you go.
Fantastic. All right. Last question. What's more important, heart or brain?
Heart. You can't make more brain. So if we say like, the brain is the determiner of what we're going to do, then we're just intrinsically limited to what we were put in our head, where heart can make up for lack of brain. A lot of times smart people suck. You know, smart people or people that get a good education very often will never compete with someone that works harder. If you're blessed with a brain and a heart, you're like unstoppable. But if you're blessed with heart, it can overcome being dumb.
Word. Thank you.